person to see. You gotta be one of Levi's favorite subjects. Him and his third wave feminism. I don't know.
That's not a good ideology.
I don't know. I wish there was more old people here. The young people probably don't even grasp what culture is. How far it has gone. Do you guys know that clapping is now sexist?
Mm-hmm. I actually remember when that story first came out. I may be young, but mentally I'm like 50.
There you go. If you're European, you gotta do the jazz hands. If you're American, you're allowed to snap.
Yeah, they've been doing both on college campuses as of lately, and it's kind of stupid.
A lot of this stuff I can explain, but some of it's even over my head.
How did clapping become sexist?
I can't explain it. You got Google, go figure it out. I'm just telling you what
Alrighty
the world
then.
is doing. And the world is being defined this morning by colleges and the major networks. That's who the world is for this lesson so far. My favorite now is forget about heterosexual or homosexual. It's now that plus LGBTQ.
Q?
I love Q. Q is my favorite. This is great.
And whatever letters they decide to put after it tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, Q should take care of it. And we won't explain what all these are, but we will explain the Q. Q is questioning. So, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning.
Used to be queer.
Yeah.
It used to be queer, but you're right. It used to be, but now it's questioning. Now it's, I'm not going to tell you, you can't put me in a pigeonhole. We'll get around to it when I feel like I can tell you what I am.
Maybe.
Questioning. You can't make that up. You really can't. College campuses, the first thing that's going now is free speech. Beautiful Berkeley won't let the white-winged wackos talk.
Yeah.
A lot of the comedians will no longer play colleges. Edgy guys like Jerry Seinfeld. Who's the guy that plays the banjo? Steve Morton. These guys won't play colleges no more because they're tired of being protested by making fun of whatever group you're not allowed to make fun of that week. But Berkeley, not allowed free speech. The movement that started with the hippies and get out of Vietnam won't let you give any other opposing view. College safe rooms. Colleges now are putting rooms up where different minorities, whether it is ethnic or religious or probably social, can go and be safe from opposing views on college campuses. What is that? The other one, my favorite, we can tolerate everything except for intolerance. What else am I missing? What else am I missing, Levi? What else? That's really bizarre and way out there from normal.
Bizarre and way out there from normal?
Yeah, like clapping. Come on.
People try to insist on the existence of non-binary when clearly all gender is binary. You're either male or you're female. I mean, there really is no in between.
Oh, yeah. That's back to question.
Unless you're a hermaphrodite, of course.
Well, yeah, but that's not a gender though. That's a deformity.
Yeah.
Microaggressions.
Oh, microaggressions.
Ooh, microaggressions. When you're offensive in small ways, like, hey, where are you from? That implies you're not white American. If you have a different accent, it's like, hey, where's that accent from? Hey, you're not quite the right color to be white, so where are you from? That's a microaggression. And it goes farther. What if you do it by accident? You have not conscious, but a
Subconscious bias. Something. Can I be part of your generation?
There, sure you can. You can have subconscious microaggressions where you're saying mean things you don't even know it. I want you to try and fix that one. The concept that you're going to do bad things in reality if you think bad things. And we can prove that one wrong all day long. I have never choked a cop, but I have wanted to.
Haven't we all?
I've wanted to vote for people I haven't voted for. All kind of stuff I think I never end up doing. Haven't robbed a bank yet. Looking forward to it. Yeah, so there is no such thing as male and female. There is no such thing as, what else? All there is racism. What else? In my own little world, we got a fabrication shop, we got a fab shop at work, filled with a bunch of pipe fitters and welders. And first rule of fab shop is, you guys will never guess this. And they allow me to come over and eat lunch with them and tell lies.
Don't talk about fab shop.
No, what?
Don't talk about fab shop.
Close, no. But I think that is in the top 5. First rule of fab shop is have no children. I kid you not, that's the first rule. That is their answer to the world's problems. Have no children. And for a long-term goal, I guess that would solve all the world's problems.
Technically, yes.
Fab shop is ran, believe it or not, by a leftist, Democrat, atheist. Good friend of mine. Get along swell. It's wonderful. Second rule of fab shop is we have a safe word. If you get picked on a little bit too much, you can use guacamole, and we'll probably pick on you more. But theoretically, you're supposed to stop. What else are we missing in this great culture world? American culture has always been kind of unique. I am told we're one of the few people in the world that votes for the underdog. We really do have this God and guns mentality. Even Mr. Obama complained about that during his election. Those people in Pennsylvania won't put away their God and guns and vote for me.
Yeah.
We have this thing for criminals too. I'm told only Australia has the same thing for criminals. We know who Bonnie and Clyde is. We know who Jesse James is. And supposedly nobody else really thinks about that.
There's a similarity in our beginnings with Australia.
We are the taker of the riffraff of the world.
Well, we were both penal colonies in different places for a while.
Yep. And riffraff. You're allowed to have, I consider criminals riffraff because not all those criminals in Australia were there for criminal activity. Some of it was simply political. But they also got, a few murderers and, a few pickpockets and whatnot. And historically speaking, it's who leaves home? Who gets up and leaves their country behind?
People running from something.
There really is, I think there's only 2 reasons. You're running for something, you're a criminal, whether it's a political criminal or a criminal or wealth. You leave home for wealth. You'll travel the world to find that gold mine, to find that oil well. Or if somebody's chasing you. So America, a country of immigrants, either the Pilgrims are basically political criminals, bad-talking the government and the wrong church at the time, or you got plenty of real criminals where, there's times in history to Eastern Europe, you want to go to prison, you want to go to America. Off to America you went.
Do you mean if we chase the liberals, they'll leave?
They always threaten to. I don't know why they never follow through. To me, it is hard to leave home. I cannot imagine leaving home back, historically speaking. Saying goodbye to everything. How bad does it gotta be?
Or how good do you think the last frontier is? Or something like that.
Well, and that happened in our American history too, when people left back east and
To go west.
took them a year to get a wagon train back west, and they basically said goodbye to their whole families.
Mm-hmm.
And the West is so interesting, so fascinating because where does it start? And historically speaking, The Midwest is where, people? Ohio? Missouri?
Why?
Because it's west of the East Coast. The West starts at the Appalachian Mountains, 200 miles from the coast, and everything else is west. Now, of course, in our mind, you don't get west until you hit the Rockies.
Yeah.
For a long time, you don't get west until you hit the Mississippi. But it began with the Appalachians. And it's so large and it's so big out here. Like the cowboy culture, what, a whole 10 years? The Pony Express, what, 18 months?
Yeah.
Transcontinental Railroad, just, when it built, it was built. It was done, it was done. But it's interesting how we have these things. And I know. And what is more famous in America? The underdog thing really is there. What's more famous historically than the Alamo in America that we have in our culture? It's 100 years later, but I don't know. I think more people have probably heard of the Alamo than the Statue of Liberty.
Tea Party.
Boston Tea Party.
Mount Rushmore?
Maybe.
Civil War.
You know what? I bet you if we could pull high school seniors, I bet half of them couldn't tell you who the Civil War what was between.
Probably.
No.
Probably not.
Probably they couldn't tell you when the War of 1812 was fought.
And, it's funny, but it's just true.
Yeah.
I've heard the questions. What color is the White House?
Who's in the unknown soldier's tomb?
That's silly. We all know it's green.
Yeah, there you go.
It is in Iceland, so the White House is green.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
But the Alamo's up there historically with the 3,000 Spartans, the Thermopylae.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, we love losers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. We love the underdogs. What is this thing we have with criminals? It's really weird. I mean, I wonder if the average American can name more criminals or more presidents. I know I can name more criminals than I can Supreme Court judges.
Yeah.
I can't name it.
I don't know who enforces the law, but I know who broke it. And that's weird. That's bizarre. Let me see. Do I need this anymore? Yep, I need page 3. All right, let's get back to the biblical sense. Let's start at the beginning and see if we can make some sense out of this. After God made everything, well, let me back it. Let's do it this way. What is culture?
Society.
In the very beginning, God made everything, the whole world, and He made man, and what did He tell man to do? Very first thing, even before the fall.
Be fruitful and multiply.
He was a keeper of the garden. He was told to till the garden. The very first culture in humanity is agriculture, horticulture. It is not leaving nature as you find it. That's what culture is. You got the raw ingredients, now do something. And isn't that the most fascinating thing that you can stop and think about? God created everything, and in essence He said, okay, man, improve it. You ever thought about it that way? That's what He did.
Yeah.
We are sitting here 7,000 years removed going, oh, God is perfect, which is true. How can you improve what you were told to? I was always threatening to leave the sermon right there, just as that thought. God told you to improve the world. God told you to improve Mother Nature. Sorry about that. And up to the 1700s, the only really culture in the world was agriculture. And stop and just think about that alone. How many hungry people would there be if we didn't improve nature?
Not a lot, because they'd all die.
There you go. It almost puts a new mindset into GMO products, or mean people in the Roundup. And no, I'm not a fan of GMO products, but logically, I don't know. It's an unknown question. And GMO is genetic modified orgasm. You can have hybrids and create things and grow things that nature did not put together. Our corn is not what the Indians call maize. You would not eat corn on the cob. You had to eat what the Indians called maize. You would have 4 rows with 5 kernels. There ain't a whole lot that you would eat that's 200, 500 years old. You wouldn't eat the cows and the pigs of last century. You all would starve to death and wouldn't like any. It's quite hilarious. You see pictures of cows or livestock from 200 years ago. They have no legs. They're all round as a barrel. They had no legs. They were round as a barrel. Everything looked like a barrel. You look at a modern day pig, and they're long and they're lean, about twice as long, half the weight, twice the meat. It's just simply bizarre. In the 1700s, people got the idea, well, hey, if we can improve nature, why don't we improve man? Let's give a cultured people, introduce them to art and literature, music. I think a lot of that had to do with the Industrial Revolution, and you're not starving to death no more. But culture has taken the raw building blocks and making it into something that you believe is good, important, can't remember, true, to give it meaning. Music is just taking the raw sound and turning it into something that has emotional value or educational value or something you want to listen to. Stories or theater is just taking the raw experiences of humanity and turning them into a storyline. Legal arguments are part of culture. Medical policies tell you what's good and right and real and how we define it and what we're going to do about it. Almost all these things are culture. I won't say anything you do is culture. I don't know what you could do that's not culture. It's just taking the raw building blocks and rearranging them to something that you can understand and get along with. Tell a story, to tell them, and can't say the word narrative. And the important part is that you're trying to get to what is true, meaning, and important. Culture, and this is what Hollywood loves, culture is the power to define what is real. Now, as far as Christian culture goes, we try to define what God wants us to do. And we usually use Christian culture for the improvement and the betterment of humanity. Christians feed the poor, build the hospitals, make the orphanages. Quick, somebody name me an atheist hospital. Kaiser, no. Where are the atheists when it comes to taking care of orphanages? Or any group besides the Western Judeo-Christian ethics?
Only the government funded.
Government funded. And there may be some out there, but I sure can name a lot more than of the Christian ones than I can the other ones. Whoops. Gotta go to page 2, not page 3. And we do it, and the word is for the common good. All culture is basically going for the common good. And that is a loaded question. What is the common good? Is my definition the same as yours? Is it the individual? Is that the most important thing in the world? The family? The village? Is the material world good? Is it an illusion? Is it the only reality? You can't see it, it doesn't exist. Is history getting better? Have we fallen from some kind of golden pinnacle? Is it secular, circular? Did we just go in one big circle? Is it a tale? I gotta read my writing. A tale about an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Is that what history is? And that's from Macbeth. So what is God's view? Should Christians be engaged in culture? Silly question, you don't have a choice. The question is, what culture are you going to be engaged with? Because going to work makes culture. Writing makes culture. Art makes culture. Your views, your arguments, it's all culture. We're all involved with it. The question is, can we tell yours from somebody else's? And when it comes to Christian culture, there's a couple of things that we have to realize and make it and get along with. It'd be much better if we can do these things. And one of them, the first thing we have to do is realize that all culture is mixed. Everyone, whether you're saved or unsaved, are fallen. In Christian culture, you're going to have a lot of truth and probably a little wrong. Not probably. You will have a little of something wrong. Your own biases, your own personal idolatry will get in there, whether it's God and country, whether you're biased towards the U.S. or your colors or whatever it is. The flip side is also true. Even when heathens make culture, there's truth in it. Even in the worst, horrible, non-musical rap, there's some truth there. Why are these people so mad? I'm sure we have a lot of Puff Daddy fans in here. Everybody? Yeah, no? Puff Daddy, one of those rappers, and he's like one of the smart guys. He wasn't very good at rapping, so he got into music labels and designer clothes and other endeavors. But he has a song called I'm Coming Home. And basically, to clean it up for church, it's, my life is wine, women, and song. And it's nothing. And my favorite line in there is that, yeah, we're living together with my girlfriend, so she's living like a guest in her own home. It's like, wow. Did he nail that or what? One of my favorite songs is by the Reverend Billy Wiltse, and he's the Reverend of the First Polyester Church, which tells you where he's coming from. He has a song of The Sleeper Hold on Satan. And it is the most correct hymn I have ever heard. He just likens your life to Saturday matinee wrestling. And he just nails it word for word, where it's, your prayers are like push-ups in God's heavenly gym. The devil's fighting you for your soul, which is kind of like the title belt. And he'll use every trick he can. And basically you're going to lose unless you tap in Jesus, who will come in and win for you. I mean, the song is a work of art. I mean, it is so outstanding. And the guy is so unreligious, it's hilarious, but he nailed it to the wall. It's hilarious. Romans 1:20. Get my glasses off so I can see again. I'm going to have to get some trifocals again so I can read. 1:20 says, for since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. All of us, whether you're saved or not, know there is a God. And his presence and his creation is a weight on you. You know it's there. You know it's true. And the atheists, much like alcoholics, are simply lying to themselves. And it's really easy to lie to yourself if you're an alcoholic, but even late at night, when it's dark and it's quiet, and you know you have a problem. But you'll deny it to yourself all day long. And that's why the heathen's going to have some truth in their music. Even if they don't recognize it, you can't get away from it. Second thing we got to add together is most Christians have three views. You either have a world view of that you are a Christian and you're right, which everybody else is wrong. You have a view of justice and the common good, which means you don't love everybody, and that's the most important thing is love. Or the third thing is just the church. Don't worry about the culture, don't worry about politics, just build the church up. All three have something to say, but you can't pick one. If you pick one, you're going to be off kilter to center. You got to put all three of those together. You got to know you're right and not brag about it. You got to love everybody, but you got to tell them they're wrong. You got to build a church, and you have to worry about the outside world, but then at the same time, don't worry about the outside world. You can't control things you can't control. It's not going to happen. Just do your business, do what God told you to do, and the world will take care of itself. And that bugs most of my Christian friends. I got one guy I work with, a doomsday prepper, and I drive him nuts. I go, okay, so what? I read the book of Revelations. The world's going to come to an end in a great, great big battle. If that's what you believe, so what? What does it tell you to do? Does it tell you to get ammo? Does it tell you to stock a year of food like the Mormons say? I always had the attitude that I don't need a worldwide persecution. Just one person, or one government, or one cop, or one criminal can make your day horrible, or end your life. And I never understood, well, it's okay if you're a Christian in China and being persecuted. That's not going to be as bad as when I get persecuted. Okay, I do understand that. But the whole world is like, okay, great. What difference does it make? What are you going to do? If they're going to come and kill you, guess what? They're going to come and kill you. Okay, a little bit of diffuse attitude. 3, our culture must defy and resonate. It's got to have meaning to the world. The Amish doesn't resonate with anybody. They all have the life that we're trying to achieve, isn't it? They don't sin, they don't gamble, they don't whatever. They don't do anything.
They don't have kids.
And they save the same number of people. Doesn't resonate with people. And if you don't defy, then you just get along. You get to be Joel Osteen and don't preach about sin, and we're all one big happy family, and life is great. You get a big church, and you haven't accomplished anything either. You got to do both. And no good sermon is good without referring to a secular philosopher. And once again, my buddy Nietzsche, who some claim is responsible for the Nazi movement in Germany. He says, if you believe in human rights, if you care for the poor, and everyone has value and worth, I'm not even going to call you a religious person, I'm going to call you a Christian. How do you get human rights without God? How does, as the other philosopher, I forgot his name, the other Russian guy said, we all came from apes, therefore love one another. I mean, that's what they're telling you today. If we are here because we ate each other, as in, I had to kill you so I could survive. So the logical outcome is that you have rights and human rights and dignity and everybody's worth something. Nope. But that is our end. That is our only end with the world, is to find a common, something that you can agree with, a common value. You want to be a third generation feminist and think women are equal? Well, I'll tell you what, I think people are equal too, and I'll tell you who gave you that idea, who made it possible. Because there is no human rights with no God. It's stupid. My dog don't have rights, my cat don't have a right, the chickens you're going to eat doesn't have no rights. Even the ones who want to save the animals, they're killing something. That carrot must have a right too. You can't lock up half the population in order to stop sex and in order to stop rape. It ain't going to work out in the long run. But we can get along if we find something that we can agree with. And most of you realize that this culture that we're in, the third generation feminists, or the vegetarians, or Joe Lieberman, whoever it is only possible in the Western world, the Judeo-Christian. You cannot be a third-wave feminist in Saudi Arabia, anywhere in the Muslim country. You have to be communist in the communist countries. You can't be anything else. There's nothing more important. Only in the West, does our culture allow its own destruction. Isn't that interesting to think about? These people are standing up and telling you how bad and evil God is, and democracy, and freedom. And they can only do that in some place where there is a God and freedom. I kind of just use the word democracy because as we all know, as students of history, democracy is not the same as freedom. Democracy is actually a pretty lousy, horrible idea. One person, one vote is not where you really want to be. And that's easy to prove. Let's put 3 guys, 1 woman on an island, and let's have democracy. Let's see how this is going to turn out. Let's have 3 white guys and 1 black guy, and let's have democracy. Let's see how this is going to turn out. And I do find it interesting, as crazy as the liberals are, so-called conservative people ain't too far behind. It's kind of hilarious, I think. Some of the new darlings of the conservative movement, Milo, anybody? Milo? Anybody heard Milo? His last name is Akanaka.
Yeah.
I mean, it's strange, and he's also one of those guys where I cannot disagree with. But if you want to say a conservative, he's a very flamboyant gay speaker. And you watch him, you definitely believe it's all about him. I mean, he's putting himself forward as a brand. I don't think there's any argument on that. Here's my brand, I want the money, this is what I'm saying. I don't know whether he believes it or not, but he's smart enough to say it. Ben Shapiro. Nice Jewish guy. I don't think there's anybody smarter than him. I really don't. I think he has reality, culture, history nailed down to the wall. And he doesn't have the braggadocious attitude that the other guys have, Milo or Rush Limbaugh. Talent on loan from God. Savage, kind of. But a lot of the people I can't disagree with. I just can't go along with their style, and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, the world's a mosaic. I can live with that. There's a lot of times to say this or that. The very last thing is we can make the culture because that's how God made the world. It goes back to the very beginning of the culture, the very beginning with the earth. And all cultures is basically a form of gardening. You take something, you take care of it, you water it, you kill it, whatever it is, whether it's art or music or government policies. And that, I think, is something that we're going to have to just stop and think about. God made the world that can be changed. That has to be changed. And it just brings up so many things. You go, not to get off on the politics or morality, but it's marijuana. All God made it is natural. 100% true. God made it natural, and God said improve it. God made corn, and he said improve it. God made dirt and a garden and told Adam and Eve, make it better. And be fruitful and multiply. And you have to recognize how it all ends. You can argue about the true meaning, but we have to agree that the picture we're given in the beginning is a garden. The picture we're given at the end is a
City.
You can wave your hand all you want, but that's the picture. That's the last thing you get in the last book of the Bible. You're told to be fruitful and multiply. If you multiply, you're going to have a what? You're going to have a family. If you have families, you're going to have a tribe. If you have a tribe, the word civilized is from the word city. You're going to have a city.
Yep.
But there is no way around it. God gave you a blank slate and told you to build. And we don't have to figure out what that means, to what end. But the first one's obvious. God said improve it. God said go out and improve it. All culture, all meaning, all music, all arts. And God raised up more than just prophets and priests, did he not? Who's Joseph?
Yeah, dreamer.
Who's Daniel? Who's Esther? Esther's not a priest or a prophet. These guys were guys and gals, were called to do a secular job, if there is such a thing, in a godly manner. And it's got to be the same thing we're called to do. It's got to be. There's no other explanation for us to be here. The meaning of life isn't 47. Or is that the meaning of the universe? 42, sorry.
I was going to say that wasn't right.
I don't do well with the meaning of the universe.
You need to touch base with those other hitchhikers over there.
Yeah. It's all culture. It all had meaning. I got an obscure reference, and half of you got it. I got an obscure reference that was wrong, and half of you got it. That is culture. You have made something. You have expanded on it, made something that you're trying to say is true. And what truth is that? Back up for everybody, so everybody's on the same page. Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy. They ask the question, what is the meaning of the universe? The answer is 42. There's some truth in that. There's some beauty in that. There's some reality in that, at least from the author's point of view. And stop and just think about that for a second. What reality is that? You're crazy. Maybe that is the secret of the universe. Prove to me I'm wrong. Prove to me I'm right. Either way, it's a dialogue, and even that creates more culture and more direction. Let us stand this morning. Everybody thoroughly confused? Yep. Know what the meaning of life is?
Where's your towel?
42. Oh, let us pray. Dear loving Father, please forgive us. Please understand us. Please mold us into what you would have us to do, Lord. Guide us and direct us in this coming week. Let us do your work in your way. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen.
Amen.